Okay, so we're going to talk about a very important topic that a lot of businesses find a struggle, which is people. Because ultimately, what we realize and what I realize is that you're not a business. It doesn't matter how much money you make. You're not a business unless you have people in the business, right? And I think there's so many angles to how a business approaches even hiring people and building a team. Maybe do you want to share your thoughts about what do you think involves really what sorts of people in the business, I guess? You know, what are the core people? What are the not so important people? How do you define it?
I think throughout our past few years, 2 years, I think almost 2 years now, doing this, I have a pretty solid answer to this question. The last time I always don't know who do we hire, what do we do ourselves, what are the roles that are meant to be outsourced, who should we even outsource, right? So what kind of staffs do we want, right? So I think it's very clear that every company there are only two types of roles, which is the creative roles and operational roles. What I mean by creative is it just design and drawing? No. Creative means people who are able to inspire others, people who are able to think out of the box, people who are able to create frameworks, people who are able to think basically.
Create frameworks, okay.
Critical thinkers, yes.
Okay.
And everyone else is just operations. They follow the frameworks created by creative people. And that's it. And I always want to be able to pay. And creative roles are fundamentally roles that you can do very well.
Yeah.
You can make a huge impact. For example, this guy's 1 hour can save the entire operations team 20 hours. So this is what we call a creative role. Right. And I always like to work with people who are able to propose me ideas. Like even in fact, when I work with my team members, I always go back to asking them, why don't you propose me something? Right? I want to see how driven are they, and sometimes I just get really disappointed because the thing that they give me is like something that I could have done in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So it's just a simple copy paste. Then the next question is how do we then inspire them and motivate them, and is it something that it's innate in that person, or do we have to extract it out of them?
Okay, so one thing you talked about just now, which was the types of people, okay? So there is the thinkers and the doers, I guess, and ultimately you need both kinds of people, right? Now you said whether for a thinker or a doer, which one could you outsource actually?
That's a good question.
Right.
Can we before we look at that question, can we discuss one topic first?
Sure.
Why do we outsource? What's the benefit?
Why do you outsource, right?
Before we go into the topic, then we can think clearer on which role.
You see, ultimately, why you outsource is I think it's for two things, right? Number one is the due to resource planning, outsource you can just run it one time and then you don't need that person anymore, right? So resource plan it's basically if you want to do something one time and you don't need the person, hey, I just want to do this one time or a few times and that's it, right? Because outsourcing means you're not building a team, you're just giving someone to do some work. So it's a one-time work, resource planning. Another one is fundamentally you don't have to hire a specialist on board full-time is very expensive. And it goes back to the same thing, you don't need a person full-time. So you outsource to a specialist, an expert who can probably charges you expensive, but charge you maybe like 200 ringgit an hour for 5 hours rather than 10,000 ringgit for a month. That's really it, right?
You get to pick the brains of the best for a lower price, right? Because you don't need the best of the best to go in and do stuff for you. Best of the best to set the framework for you and discuss and advise you, right?
You don't need them full time, put it that way.
You can't afford them. Maybe even you can, you wouldn't need to afford them full time.
Yeah, because there's nothing much I can do full time. It's a part-time thing, right? Fundamentally, is it?
I agree with you. Just like how have you? I mean, to bring in some context into the few roles that most companies outsource will be legal. Finance. Not finance, sorry. Your accounting, right?
Yeah.
What else is that people outsource?
Your secondary roles, right? That doesn't really impact the business. Your secondary roles.
Doctor, right? When you're sick, you go to the doctor. You don't hire a doctor in your house full time unless you require a doctor full time because you're terminally ill or something like that. Right? That I agree with you. That's like on outsourcing people for the hours that matter only, right? Instead of paying them 20K per month, you pay them 100 ringgit per hour for 10 hours.
Yeah.
That's it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I want to talk about then based on your logic, right? That means that everything else should be in-house.
Yeah, of course. People that you need to rely on full time, make them in-house.
You have a virtual assistant, right?
Yeah, virtual assistants,
What do you
yeah.
think of virtual assistants?
Never really used them that much and not too sure about it.
They are part-timers as well, fundamentally part-timers. And right now, right, we talk about this all the time about doing story points. If you pay someone for their full-time work, you're actually paying them for 40 hours at a time. That kind of thing, right? Pay someone 10,000 ringgit, you're paying them 10,000 ringgit for 40 hours at a time. So if you pay someone 5,000 ringgit and he's spending 20 hours of his time on the work, essentially if you prorate it up, you're paying him 10,000 ringgit.
Yes,
per month, right?
yes.
So would you say that companies are using up 40 hours per week of their employees' time?
Yeah, they are.
Really?
Companies are using 40 hours a week, that's the metric.
Because I know that's the metric, right? That's on surface level, but I read a few reports by some people doing workforce research, right? Saying that actually employees' efficiency, because they were doing this research, why? Because they're doing this because some people because with COVID or that, people have and people are saying, hey, these guys, they're not bad. They can deliver as well, right? Then it boils down to the question of like, what is it? How many hours are they actually putting in? And the employees can tell me, hey, I do the same work with in 3 hours as what I did in the office. I did. Okay, sorry. Let me rephrase. Right now, working from home, because the employee was unhappy with start working from home, and the employee's defense was, I can do literally everything I did in the past in 3 hours. And that got me thinking, right? If you could have done it in 3 hours, that means that you're not fully efficient. That's it. In office. So, which also means that 50%, 60% of the time, people are not doing stuff. They're not fully utilizing the hours. What do you think of that?
No, so pay them just for the hours then. If you're hiring someone just purely for their hours, right? Then pay them for the hours. I think my point is, why even bother hiring anyone when you can just outsource everybody, right?
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
So for me, maybe we can share thoughts on this as well. For me, right, I ask myself this question. I think one big thing is because we want people who are in it with us in the long run. This person understands every aspect of the business, understands my vision and my mission, understands how to be able to spread that message to other employees. Because these guys work directly with us in the early days. They saw everything, they believe in us, they know what we want, so they should be tasked with the role of delivering this message to our newer generation of team members. Someone who's aligned with our goals. Anyone who's not aligned with our goals, right? Honestly, there's no reason for me to hire this guy full time. I mean, this is just my harsh opinion.
No, as you're telling me this, right, I realized, and what I wrote down even before you mentioned I wrote down, who would you hire full time? I wrote down here, hire people who believe in the vision. Fundamentally, right, if you're hiring someone, you're going to calculate their hours and time, that means that, okay, you're paying this person technically for their hours. It wasn't that they believe in the vision, they're super enthusiastic, right? If you're hiring someone just purely because they are super productive and can do work well, and look, okay, hiring someone full time, right, it's actually cheaper. It's cheaper also, actually. It's not just for believing in vision. If you need someone permanently on that role to do something for you, then hire them full time. Right? I need you to make 100 videos every month for the next 10 years. I'm like, okay, so I'm working on this full time. Why don't you just hire me and pay me a full time salary?
Assuming they have full time work to be done, yeah?
Yeah,
of course,
right?
So, assuming you're leveraging on their 40 hours per week, right?
What
if you give something that could have been done in 1 hour?
No, so that's a separate topic of someone who is not doing work. There's, you hired someone and the person is just horrible, they don't do work, then just they're not part of business. That's out of the equation, right? But assuming someone is good, you need them for their full-time work, and you just pay them full-time.
Of course.
That's one thing.
Assuming they're good,
because ultimately also, would you hire someone who believes in the vision but cannot execute versus someone who don't believe in vision but can do the work or can think whatever?
Who can believe in the vision and do the work.
I know, you're basically asking for everything, right? You're asking for everything.
That's not a lot.
But there are a lot of people out there who can tell you now who make the most amazing video editing ever, do it super fast, but they just don't believe in vision, but they are willing to do the work, they're doing super well. Very expensive. And you need to make 100 videos a month.
This guy is going to be able to do it 10 times faster than what a junior person is. So
no,
it's still not expensive if you think of it. I'm paying this junior person, let's say, $3,000.
So the point is this guy will say, oh, if you pay for me a part-time basis, and you need 100 videos a month for the next 10 years, I charge you $100 per video. You hire me full-time and you pay me you just pay me the equivalent of $50 for the next 10 years. Because ultimately you're utilizing the guy full time consistently. You need to hire him full time. It just makes a money sense. It's pure money.
So if you're outsourcing it by the hours, you always have to pay a premium on top of it because full time gives them job security,
Yes.
and that's why they can push down the price a little bit.
Yes, exactly.
That's what people are doing.
No,
Also
so
ages now.
if you need the guy full time, then hire him full time. It saves money. It saves
If
money.
you need the guy full time, then hire him full time, right?
Yes.
Assuming
Don't-
he does full time work.
Yeah. It's assuming he does full-time work. Yeah, exactly.
If he does full time work, this conversation is done.
Of course.
But if he doesn't do full
No, if he doesn't do full time work, you don't hire the guy in the
No,
first
but I
place.
just talked about how most people actually are not doing full time work.
No, you give them work that's equivalent of full time. They don't do it, then they're fired. That's it. That scenario you're giving there, it's a scenario where people don't do work, whatever scenario it is. Yeah, right. But the point is, you don't then go out and like find a part timer. You still find another full timer, but that is good. You don't go and hire a part timer just because one guy cannot.
See how we can spread the roles because a lot of roles actually, right? I can get my team to do it because let's say we pay them 3,000-4,000 a day.
Yeah.
I can get them to do it. They do it slow. But if I go out to someone who doesn't need to care about my vision, all I do is, hey, here's all the creatives, here's all the copywriting, here's everything. Go ahead, do this video for me. They're like, shit, I want this deal, I want this sales. Let me try my best and do it in 1 hour. Whatever my team took 2, 3, 4 weeks to do, get it from me.
Okay, let's ask, what do big companies, and they're famous for outsourcing a lot of stuff, what do they hire in-house for? Because they outsource a lot of stuff. What is in-house? Actually, the in-house people are just coordinating the outsourced people. That's all they do, right?
Yeah, that's all they do, right? My dad worked in a huge company.
Yeah.
And I was asking him, hey, because when we first started this
Yeah.
business, I was tasked with marketing, right? So asking him, how do big companies do their marketing, right? I was there, scrambling, like scratching my head like crazy, doing everything from video editing to graphic design to. I was doing everything. I was like, shit, it's impossible how someone can do all of this, right? So asking, how do you do it in bigger companies, right? And I asked him, do you have digital marketeers? Is someone managing your ads? Is someone doing your creatives for you? You know what? He told me, no. We only have a team of 3 marketing executives, marketing coordinators, and all we do is we outsource to different companies. I'm like, shit. And they did outsource, and the marketing coordinators are just the ones who give the direction and just give the instructions, just the instructions, and they'll give them a budget. They just deal directly with these agencies.
Yeah. Okay, I think the one thing you cannot outsource then is, coordinators are fundamentally also thinkers. Because you got to coordinate, you got to plan, you got to think. Then you execute. Here's the army of outsourced people, and execute and plan them well. But you got to plan, think, coordinate, budget. That's done by your people that you hire, right?
You got to manage these agencies as well, right?
No, managing, planning, thinking, coordinating, strategizing, all done by your in-house people that you hired, those 3 marketing execs, whoever they are. Everything else you outsource the doing. So basically, thinking is done in-house, outsourcing is done. And yeah, you can say outsource thinking to some level, but you have to fundamentally have your own people in-house to think. Then you get consultants or whatever. But the thinking part is done in-house. The doing part is outsourced.
Like that. I like that.
Right?
I can't.
Right? That's interesting. So doing is outsourced only because and I would say one thing, you got an in-house, and same thing for even the software world, where you in-house things that's very core to your business. The brand message, the vision, the pitch, the strategy, that's in-house to your business. Outsource is create for me a video. I mean, there's nothing unique to that business, just creating a video. You just need someone who doesn't care about the vision, don't even need to know what your business is.
But some people can do it for super good.
Yeah.
And that's why, right? They don't need to understand your.
They don't understand business, they don't know, I just make very good videos.
But you still gotta give him the content and everything.
Yes, that's the planning part, right? That's the in-house planning part.
Because he wouldn't know the specific intricacies in your business, and you
that's
have
the
to
planning.
still talk to him about it.
But ultimately,
you say it's easier to have an in-house team to do this because then the in-house team already knows what you want. You don't have to go through this entire conversation about, hey, so this is what we do in our business, and this is our offer right now. Here are past case studies, testimonials.
No, I think it also makes the business very agile. Very agile. I think when you think about business, right, and I'm also thinking about it, right? If you have a whole team of outsourced people, your business is agile. I can move cash flow around. One day cash flow is tight, cash flow is not tight. I can stop and scale anytime I want. it's like cloud computing, right? Where you just scale your resources. You don't buy in-house servers. Yeah, you outsource the servers and then you just scale it out, right? Fundamentally, right? If they tell me a business now outsources everything, yes, they're paying more. They are paying a lot more, okay? But they're probably getting better quality work, and ultimately, right? You couldn't afford what the company can afford is paying cheap people, very cheap, to take like 10 times they're better paying the same amount of money. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We once had an intern. We were asking ourselves, should we teach this guy? He's an intern, we want to pay him crazy amount. We paid 1.2k, 1k, 1.2k, right? And then this guy was working like 2 hours a day. They were like, okay, let's keep it because 1,000 it's not a lot of money, right? It's quite insignificant at that point in time. But like, okay, just remember. And in the maths, actually, if you spend it out 2 hours per day, that's like 10 hours per week. So in a way, if you prorate it, right, you're paying him for like freaking
a lot of money.
It's a lot of money, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, things in that. So I don't know, is this the correct way?
Not just that. Even the person's productivity level is working 8 hours a day. The work they can produce, because they're not specialized or whatever, they're just juniors, right?
The point is not specialized, yeah.
They need to do that small amount of work, right? The impact is very small. So actually, now that I'm thinking about it, right, what is high impact work in a company is fundamentally the thinkers. Those make high impact, because when you think about strategy, it changes the course of a company, right? The doers don't really have a lot of high impact. Doers tend to be quite low impact. I did one video, okay, what's the impact to the company? It's a bit, you need to do 100 videos for it to be very impactful to some level, right? Or I did, so I would say the planning is often way more impactful than actually the doing.
Managing, yes.
Yeah.
Both of these two things.
And the beauty about outsourcing it is that you pay only on results.
Exactly.
Right?
Yes.
You pay on results,
to me,
right?
And like one of the software projects we've done in the past, right? We did a crap ton of stuff, and like because of some small ass stuff, the guys are like, yeah, I'm not paying you guys. Right? And we were like tied down to every single thing to fix everything for him.
Yeah.
And then we realized,
So right, I think right, even okay, but if you're a BMW, then there's a lot of doing. People are building cars. Why are they hiring 20,000 factory workers to build a car? Why can't they outsource that? Right? If I'm McDonald's, why can't I outsource making burgers? Why do I in-house It's a doing, right? Well, McDonald's corporation themselves don't make burgers. The corporation does the marketing.
I guess what you mentioned, some roles are just more labor intensive. It's cheaper delivery because BMW releases millions of cars every year. So you fundamentally need the workforce to support your supply that you're providing to the world.
Okay, I can give you an example. Okay, you're a startup. Do you outsource your marketing? Do you outsource your tech? Do you outsource your video editing, your copywriting? You should. Actually, if you ask me now, based on what we just discussed, they're doers. Why can't I outsource all that and pay the good copywriters $100 an hour and pay someone 1,000, 2,000 ringgit for a month and why can't I outsource that to a very good copywriter and get it done properly?
If I can find a team member because the thing is fundamentally outsourcing, the people you outsource to, they're not in it with you for the vision.
No, so outsource work that they don't need to be in use for vision. I don't care whether in vision or not. Write me a good copywriting about this pitch, this angle, 500 words, boom.
You always care if someone is in it for a vision. I can look for, for whatever roles you mentioned, it's not a tech person, whatever, what was that, a marketing person, so what was that?
No, copywriters.
Copywriters, right? If you can find someone who understands your vision and your message, right, they could do it better. I would argue that they
no, that's the thing. Fundamentally, just talking about the role itself. Don't say whether someone believes in your thing, right? I can find a toilet cleaner now that believes in vision. I wouldn't hire him to clean my toilet, right?
So I actually wait.
I would. No, as a business, I think as a business now, we're getting back to the fundamentals of business. Doers and thinkers. Doers are people that you outsource because fundamentally.
You know the story about how when they were going to space, there's this guy sweeping the floor. Did you hear the story, right?
Yeah, maybe okay.
They're asking the person, what are you doing? Yeah. I'm preparing humanity's first flight to the moon. Right? You know what I'm saying? That's the kind of people that we want in this company.
I think people is a very good topic. Let's make it a 2-part series because it's close to the time here. Make it a 2-part series.